The first thing I saw was his hand. Not his face, not hers. His hand, resting lightly on the swell of her belly. It was a photo on Instagram, bright and sugar-coated. Balloon spelling baby girl floating behind them, soft pink lighting, an arch of flowers. She was glowing in a lavender dress, smiling wide. And there he was beside her, my boyfriend, my soon-to-be fiancé, the father of my child, looking at her like she was his forever. The caption read, "Can't wait to meet our little miracle." Two hearts, hashtag baby love, hashtag shower day, hashtag blessed. My coffee went cold in my hands. My heart stopped, then started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I didn't even blink. I just stared at the photo until the edges of the screen blurred. My thumb trembled as I zoomed in. His tattoo, the compass on his wrist, the one he said pointed him always home. I could barely breathe. The apartment smelled like vanilla candles and prenatal vitamins. I've been planning our own baby shower, 2 weeks away. He told me he had to work late this weekend, that he'd been picking up extra shifts to cover the hospital bills. I believed him. I even texted him that morning, "Love you. Don't forget to eat." Now, I was staring at his smile in another woman's photo. I wanted to scream, to throw the phone, to rip the world in half. Instead, I just sat there, watching the little heart emojis roll across my screen as people commented. "You two are perfect. Such a beautiful couple. She's glowing." I scrolled through her page like a detective clawing through evidence. She was someone I'd seen before, a friend, maybe. Her name was Marissa Lane, and buried among posts of brunches and sunsets, there he was again. Same smile, same hand on her back, same man who kissed my stomach every night and whispered, "You're my family." I dialed him. Once, twice, straight to voicemail. Then came the text. "Hey baby, can't talk right now. Work's insane. Everything okay?" I stared at those words for a long time, like they might rearrange themselves into truth. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I typed and deleted a dozen responses, each one angrier than the last. Finally, I sent a photo of the post. No words, just proof. Minutes stretched into hours. My pulse ticked like a clock in my throat. When he finally called, his voice was careful, like he'd rehearsed it. "Hey, I can explain. He came over that night. I was sitting on the couch, my belly round beneath one of his t-shirts. The air was thick with lavender from the humidifier. When he walked in, I could see guilt crawling under his skin. "Please, just let me talk," he said, hands raised like a man facing a firing squad. "Talk," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. It was flat, hollow. "Whose baby is she carrying?" He swallowed. His jaw tightened. "It's complicated." I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound that startled even me. "Complicated? You got another woman pregnant. That's not complicated. That's math." He ran a hand through his hair. "It happened before I knew about ours. It was one night, Jules. I didn't even think. Before you knew, I cut in. So you were still with her when you started seeing me." Silence. He didn't deny it. And that was worse than anything. I stared at him, really stared. This man I thought I knew, his soft-spoken warmth, his habit of tracing shapes on my skin when I couldn't sleep, the way he talked to my belly like our baby could already hear him. All of it was stained now. I want to hate him, but my heart wouldn't cooperate. It twisted and screamed and begged for some impossible explanation that would make it all go away. He sat down across from me, elbows on his knees. "She wasn't supposed to keep it," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "She told me she wasn't ready. Then she disappeared. I didn't know she—" "You didn't know?" I snapped. "You didn't know she was having your baby until she posted a picture and tagged you?" He flinched. I didn't think she'd exist. The word hung there like a slap. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The baby kicked, small, insistent, like a reminder that silence wasn't an option anymore. Finally, I said, "So what now?" His eyes glistened. "I don't know. I want to be there for you. For her. For both of them. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Something inside me cracked. "You did mean it," I said softly. "Every moment you lied, every time you looked me in the eye and said you loved me, you chose this. You built two lives and stood in the middle, thinking no one would notice." He dropped his face into his hands. I watched his shoulders shake. I thought I might feel satisfaction seeing him break. Instead, I just felt tired. After he left, I stood in the bathroom, staring at my reflection. My skin was pale, my eyes red and swollen. My belly rose beneath my nightshirt, stretching the fabric. Inside me, a life I'd built with a man who no longer belonged to me shifted and turned, innocent and unaware. I thought about deleting the photo, pretending I'd never seen it, pretending we were still us, pretending our baby would grow up in the home I'd imagined, the one filled with soft blankets, late-night lullabies, and love that felt safe. But denial is a kind of death, too. 2 days later, I met Marissa. I told her I wanted to talk, mother to mother. She hesitated, then agreed to meet at a coffee shop. When she walked in, she looked tired, nervous. Her belly was smaller than mine. For a long moment, we just stared at each other. "I didn't know about you," she said quietly. "Not until you messaged me." I nodded. "Same." We sat there, two women tethered by the same man, the same betrayal, the same impossible future. She wiped a tear from her cheek. "He told me you were over, that he wanted a family with me." I almost laughed again. "He told me you were a mistake." We both fell silent. Somewhere in that shared devastation, I felt a strange kind of kinship, like we were both victims of the same lie, different verses in the same cruel song. Before I left, she looked up at me and whispered, "I'm sorry." I wanted to hate her. Instead, I reached across the table and said, "Don't be. We both loved a ghost." That night, I packed a small bag. Just clothes, documents, the ultrasound photo. I didn't tell him where I was going. I just drove. The highway stretched ahead like a wound, open and endless. My phone buzzed with messages, his name lighting up the screen again and again, but I didn't look. For the first time in months, I felt something like clarity. Love had made me blind. Betrayal made me see. And as the city lights faded behind me, I whispered to the life inside me, "We're going to be okay. I promise. No more lies.